Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name's 10 Shots, and I wanted to ask you guys a question. And that's what makes for a good spectator sport? Let me just start off by saying that I'm in the camp, obviously, that thinks this game is going to be a lot of fun to play. Otherwise, why the fuck would I be making a video on it? But let's talk about Overwatch here. They did a mock 6v6 like shoutcasted match back at BlizzCon 2014 on a game mode called Payload. And honestly, Payload and the other game mode they've announced, Point Capture, in terms of viewing experience, they feel pretty similar. So when I'm talking about Overwatch, I'm talking about both of these, all right? And while they may be just fine from the player's perspective in terms of being fun and being strategic, and there's a layer of depth to the tactics within the match, um, I don't think being fun to play necessarily translates into being fun to watch, and I think that's huge in terms of succeeding as an esport. As a viewer, it just seems like there's too much going on at any given point that it's hard to keep up with. I guess I see the root of the problem as a lack of impact that deaths have. And while I'm positive they're impactful throughout the course of the match, they just don't feel like they are from the spectator's perspective. It just feels like they carry no weight to them. So you can't really get excited about the kills that are happening, and they're happening non-stop. So there's always action going on screen. Like there is not a single point of downtime in any of the gameplay previews that they've shown, unless the player they're showing off dies or whatever, and they got to run back to the action. But anyways, like in like an actual match setting, they'd be constantly switching to where the action's taking place, and there's always action taking place. So I feel like there just needs to be more downtime between all the action. So whether that's a longer respawn time, or whether that's having like a permanent death for the round type thing, like Counter Strike or something. There just needs to be something to make the deaths more meaningful. That will in turn make the kills that are happening more exciting to watch. But also during the downtime, it gives like people like the in-game leaders time to switch up strats. Maybe they see what the enemy is doing and they can like counterpick, switch up their strat, maybe swap out a different hero or something like that. And while that might already be happening on the fly, in payload or point capture, I think the really important thing is to cue viewers into what's going on as well. And queuing like the shoutcasters in on it too. So they can kind of see what's going on. They can see heroes being swapped out. And the shoutcasters can explain to the viewers exactly what's going on, on a deeper level. And I feel like that adds a whole new level of excitement in watching. It builds up the tension, builds up anticipation because they can kind of predict what's going to happen based on what kind of heroes are being brought out. And yeah, I think that honestly solves part of the problem in being hard to follow and, just makes that makes the overall experience that much better. That aside, I also feel like just having all the action occurring in one spot on the map is probably not a good way to go either. So it's like 6v6 and there's one point on the map that they're trying to defend or that they're trying to attack. So it just becomes like this big clusterfuck of just bullets flying everywhere, people flying all over the screen, and you have no idea what the hell's going on. And maybe that's just because I haven't gotten my hands on the game yet and I don't know exactly how to follow it with my eyes, but I think that itself poses a problem as well. Because part of the reason why Counter Strike is actually doing so well right now is because of just how easy it is to follow, even from a casual's perspective. It's growing each and every year, it's growing each and every month through these tournaments because someone who's never touched the game, they can go in, they can watch it and still have a good time watching it. It's really easy to keep up with the action, and you can see the high level in skill, which is the beauty of an FPS, by the way, as an esport. Just seeing the mouse movements and seeing these people hit these incredible headshots, just seeing the skill right in front of their eyes. And I feel like that's really important right now. And if you're trying to get an FPS to succeed in this esports market, I feel like that's something Blizzard shouldn't overlook. So, what's my solution to splitting up the action? Once again, my I don't know, like my background is in Counter-Strike, so a lot of my comparisons are going to be directly related to that. I guess, just in my mind, I feel like there needs to be a reason to split defenders. So having 2 points to attack if you're the attacking team. Just give the defenders a reason to split up, make it so there's more small skirmishes going on, which makes it easier to keep up with the action. But at the same time, it also adds a layer of depth to the strategy and the tactics as well from the attacker's side. It just brings more options to how to approach a map. And I feel like that is very, very important. It gives just having more tactical freedom, I think overall will help with the longevity in Overwatch as an esport. Having this whole one objective based approach will ultimately just get stale pretty soon into its competitive lifetime or whatever. I think you're just going to be running into the same situations over and over again, and you're going to see the same shit happening tactically, or even if there is a mix up in tactics, like just having this whole cluster, this whole group fight, it's just all going to feel very familiar every time it happens, and I don't think that's a good thing. Just take a look at the 6v6 shoutcasted match that they did, and look at where they were trying to build the tension in that. Like, where was the tension in that? Literally just at the very end, right? Where the payload was right there at the finish line, and there were only a few seconds left on the time. If that's the only spot where that game mode can build tension, then it needs to be scrapped and something else needs to be brought in. So, going back to a Counter Strike comparison, well, I guess the key takeaway here is that what Counter Strike does right is it builds hype directly into the game mode, and Overwatch needs to do the exact same thing. I'm not saying follow Counter Strike exactly, I'm just saying hype needs to be built directly into the game mode. It needs to allow for more hype situations to occur, more clutch situations, more excitement in the kills that are happening. Well, what happens in Counter Strike? Let's say there's two people guarding a bomb site, and they need to defend it against four attackers, and they're able to get out of this situation, this like would be impossible situation. Or, there's like a 1v5 and this dude aces everybody, and there are just so many things that make Counter-Strike interesting, that keeps Counter-Strike interesting and keeps it fresh match to match, that I don't think can occur in something like Overwatch in the game modes that stand right now. I know in the recent Soldier 76 AMA, they actually did come out and say they were working on other game modes for Overwatch. And honestly, I'm not too worried. There are some geniuses over there at that company. But I just thought this would be an interesting discussion to have with you guys. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys think the game needs, for it to succeed as an esport? I presented what I've thought, but a lot of my ideas, just stem from my background in Counter Strike. But a lot of you guys are coming from other video games too, like League or Dota or whatever. And I'm sure you guys have cool ideas too, and I'd love to hear that shit. And hopefully, when they do finally announce the competitive mode, it's something we're all happy with.